Greetings YouTube, this is Sixus, and today I have a deck profile of my Cybranger deck. And first off, as you can see, there's no extra deck, and that's mainly due to the incantations, and the fact that there's no actual extra deck necessary, I think, for Witcher decks for the most part. Some exceptions, of course, like Nephthys. But yeah, with this one, I don't think it's that necessary. Now, starting off with the Witcher monsters, we have what I assume would, what I would consider the boss monster of the deck. This being Cyber Angel Vass. Vass is a level 10 ritual with 3000 attack, 2000 defense. And if this card is ritual summoned, you can destroy all special summon monsters. Oh, is it special on the extra deck? Yeah, all monsters that were special from the extra deck, and then inflict 1000 damage for each of those monsters that was destroyed. Plus, if that goes through, it can attack twice this battle phase. Again, it has 3000 attack, so it has the potential to be a game ender right there. And if that's not enough, it has an additional effect, which is a quick effect to prevent an effect from going through by shuffling a ritual monster from the graveyard back into the deck. So yeah, you bring this out, you destroy their field of special monsters, inflict burn damage, and if they try and stop that, you can shuffle another of the ritual monsters from the graveyard into the deck, negate the activation, destroy that card. And it can attack twice on top of that, so it's really good against extra deck heavy decks. Next up, 2 copies of Dakini. Dakini has something really unique about it. So first off, it's a level 8 with 2700 attack, 2400 defense, and it has 3 effects to it. The first one is that upon ritual summon, your opponent must send 1 monster they control to the graveyard. It does not target, and it does not destroy. So that is already really good to start off with. Then it gives all ritual monsters you control the ability to deal piercing damage. Then, during the end phase, you can add a light ritual monster or a ritual spell, specifically a Messine Angel ritual, from your graveyard to your hand. So, it removes a monster without targeting and without destruction. Then it has piercing damage, which it shares with all other ritual monsters, and it has recovery at the end phase on top of all of that. Similarly, we have Izana. So with Izana, similar to Dakini, when it is ritual summoned, your opponent must send one spell or trap card they control to the graveyard. Then there's the fact that if it destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, it can attack another monster this turn. Admittedly underwhelming when compared to Vass. But then the final effect is quick effect. If your opponent targets a ritual Cybranger you control, you can shuffle a ritual monster from your graveyard into the deck, then destroy 1 card your opponent controls. Now, it does not negate the activation, so the effect that they activate is still going to go through, but you still get to get rid of one of their resources, which I think is a decent trade-off. Then we got 3 copies of Benton. This is a level 6, meaning it's easy for preparations of rights to start this out. It is 1800 attack, 1500 defense. If this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard. Gotta love that clause ever since Pendulums came out. Anyway, so continuing, it can, once it destroys a monster and sends it to the graveyard, it can deal damage to your opponent equal to the defense of that monster in the graveyard. So yeah, doesn't literally nothing against Lynx. Yeah, it's not good against Pendulums or Lynx. Yeah, great. Yeah, I'm just really annoyed by the fact that the sent to the graveyard. I hate that it appears on so many different cards. Anyway, so that aside, if the important part about this one is that if it is tributed, you can add a light fairy from your deck to your hand. Now that is the most important part. because it's really good searching. Then we got Edatin, which upon Ritual Summon can add a Ritual spell to from your deck or grave to your hand, so always really good with consistency. But if this one is tributed, all Ritual monsters you control gain 1,000 attack and defense, which can just help make your monsters really strong and easy, and make it really easy to get over the opponent's monsters. And this one is really good at preventing your opponent from getting over your monsters. So, Cyber Angel Natasha is a level 5, and it has 1,000 attack and defense, which does only factor in with anything. You see, with this one, once per turn, you can target a face-up monster you control, gaining life points equal to half its attack. With 8 to 10, this can result in a lot of attack gain. Life point gain, I mean. Then, if your opponent would target a ritual monster you control as an attack target, you can negate that attack. This is not once per turn. So, if you only control ritual monsters and this, your opponent just cannot attack. Then, which is really annoying to EV Sceptile, who plays Gladio Beast. That would really shut him down. And finally, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one other Cyber Angel monster from your graveyard, then target a monster your opponent controls, special on this back, and take control of that monster you targeted. So not only is it already difficult to get over because of the attack negation, as well as the fact that, well, the ritual spell can protect it. On top of that, it's just that if they do get rid of it, it will just come back and steal one of the monsters. Then we got the 2 incantations. So in case you don't know, the way incantations work is, let's say, if you have the corresponding cards necessary, so for Talismandra, it's ritual monsters, with Kandar, it's ritual spells. If you have Kandar in your hand and a ritual spell in your hand, you can special it from your hand, then special an incantation with a different name from the deck. And each one of these have a different effect when they're special from the deck. So if you special in Talismandra, you can add a ritual monster to your hand from the deck. And Kandar does the same thing except with ritual spells. So very good consistency. Oh, and if you look, the levels add up perfectly to 10, making Vast even easier to summon. Next up, the copies of Cyber Petite Angel. This level 2 Light Fairy, meaning it's very easy to sort out with Dakini. No, not Dakini. What's on? Benton, that's it. So, when this is summoned, you can add a Cyber Angel monster or Messine Angel ritual from your deck to your hand. This is a hard once per turn, by the way. So that's already really good consistency. But then we got Cyber Egg Angel, which upon summon can add a Messine Angel spell or ritual sanctuary from the deck to your hand, which is the third spell we'll be going over last. So yeah, this one can search all your monsters. This one can search all your spells. So that's just really effective. And yes, both of them have hard ones per turn, so it's not that abusable, but still really good. Then we got Messine Angel, which is searchable off of Egg Angel. And its effect is that you can tribute a Cyber Angel ritual monster from your hand or field, then draw 2 cards, but place one of those cards from your hand to the bottom of the deck. And for the rest of this turn, you can only special summon ritual monsters. Again, similar to incantations, this is why extra deck isn't really valuable. But focusing on this one, so like I said, with Edatin and Benton, their effects trigger upon being tributed. So if you tribute Benton for this effect, you'd be able to draw 2 cards as well as such a Light Fairy, meaning you'll gain a lot of advantage from that. Then there's 2 copies of Terraforming to help sort out the Sanctuary field spell. 3 copies of Preparation of Rites to sort out a level 7 or lower ritual monster. which would be Edith, Benton, and Natasha. So you have a lot of targets for that, and you can also recover one of the ritual spells from your graveyard. Oh, that got in with it. Okay, so Incarnated Messine Angel. First off, Cyber Angel ritual monsters you control cannot be restored by battle. Given that Natasha exists and they tend to have high attack value, that's not really necessary, but the other part is very interesting in comparison. So if you take damage, battle, card effect, doesn't matter, you can tribute a Cyber Angel Ritual monster from your hand or field, then special on one Cyber Angel Ritual monster from your hand, and this is treated as a ritual summon. That's unique. Haven't seen that used before. So, yeah, they deal damage to you, and now you get a free ritual summon on their turn. Just an interesting one of. Then we got 3 copies of Messine Angel Absolute Ritual. This one can not only use monsters from your hand or field, but also shuffle fairies back from the graveyard back into the deck. But the trade-off is that the levels have to be exact with the ritual monster you're summoning. In contrast, we got Messine Angel Ritual, which does not have to be as specific. They do not have to equal, they can equal or exceed the levels of the ritual monster you're summoning. And the additional effect is that while it's in the graveyard, if a light monster, I think it's just light monster, yeah, if a light monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this instead. So nice protection from the graveyard. Then we got 3 copies of Ritual Sanctuary. This is the field spell. You can discard a spell card, add a light ritual monster or ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Already good for consistency, and the discarding a spell is very relevant for its secondary effect. You see, you can shuffle spell cards from your graveyard back into the deck to special summon a light fairy monster from your graveyard whose level is equal to the amount of spell cards you sent back. So the best part is Petite Angel and Egg Angel are both level 2s. So just put back 2 spell cards from the graveyard to the deck, and you can easily bring them back, which would trigger their effects. And the best thing to do with this is, say you have Merciful Messine Angel in your graveyard. You can shuffle that and one other card back into the deck. Special on Egg Angel. Egg Angel then search out Merciful Messine Angel, so you now get the draw 2 as well. So that is really good with consistency. I just think that this deck is really good compared to other ritual decks. Just as far as getting the monster, all the cards you need out, because they have a lot of searching potential. And on top of that, they have recovery, so you can just keep on reusing, say, Preparation of Rites or the ritual spells. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this deck. Thanks for watching.